I love that you picked you had to find a Coney dog when you could have actually just did a GIF for a roller coaster.
You know, I couldn't find actual GIFs for the Cyclone.
But it isn't the Cyclone anymore.
Oh, it is
built in 1884, so it's not the same.
Holy
roller
cat!
coaster.
I'm not riding a roller coaster that was built before we invented automobiles. It's not going to happen.
Okay, wow. Fair.
Who do we got in the chat room? Shout us out, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make sure our chat is working. There he
Hello,
is, the
friends.
Iceberg, Steve Ricky Berg.
On fire today,
Is he?
Iceberg.
Oh, yeah, he's
Absolutely.
killing it on the audio editing. Richard Allen, hello. Sherry Hare. Matt
Sherry.
McRoberts. How are
Hey,
you?
Richard
Julie
Allen.
V. Press, the
You guys,
gunslinger.
nice to
What's
see
up?
you.
Ruth Carter, hello. Hello. Maria D'Souza, always nice to see the comedy cleanup hitter.
Stylings.
She's the
Yeah.
comedy cleanup hitter in the chat
Yeah,
room.
that's true.
Shannon Bethany, hello. Robin Taylor, Dawn Shipley. Oh my gosh, look at all of you lovely, lovely people. We have always be eating on camera is going to a new level tonight.
Oh, Lord.
It's gonna
Nothing
be
says
great.
professional like eating on camera.
That's why we win Emmys, baby. That's why we win Emmys. All right, so we are 1 minute in. We have now, look, we got all kinds of people. A bunch of people on Periscope showing up. I guess you're on Twitter. They're all here for the meet. Richard Bennett, Shane Burton Shaw, Mike Nastasi, all here for the meet, for the tubular meet. And now it's time. You ready, baby girl?
I am.
3,
Let's do it to it.
2, 1. Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
guys.
How the hell are
Nice
you?
to see
We're still
you.
making some last minute adjustments here. We're happy to see you, even though we can't see you. You can see us, but we can. We're
We
in
see
your
you in the
mind.
chat room, though.
We're in
We
your
see you,
noggin.
Ruthie. We see you, Maria.
Richard
Oh,
Allen, I hope
Mike
you feel better. I don't know what's going on, but
Dude,
you have been
you
feeling
made it
good.
in the
Hope
right
you're
time
Lonely
zone.
Bob, what's up, sir, on Twitch? How the hell are you? Hello, Jude. What do we got going on? Let's go over what we got for the show. We've got a very chill, laid back show today. It's hot as it's not hot as balls.
No.
But it's hot as like the trail toward the balls. Can we go with that?
I think you just did. So, Daryl, would you please tell Jenna that we send our hellos as well? I hope she has a safe trip.
Jay
and comes
Radimus,
home
what's up?
safe
Kim.
and easy.
Oh my God, Kraken's 2686. People are pouring in. Willie Mays. He's runs like Mays, hits like Hayes. Willie Mays.
11 a.m. in Victoria.
Oh, right. Victoria, we got Australia. Tiffany, welcome. We love our international pals to come hang out. It makes us feel interplanetary. No, intraplanetary.
Okay, that's better.
Yes, intraplanetary. Let's go over what we're going to cover today.
Hey, Robert. Hey, Jen.
We have
Hey,
got
Stephanie.
We've got some SIGLERbrations coming up.
We've got tons.
updates. We've got Junkie pics. We've got some book updates. Today is the 137th anniversary of the first roller coaster in the U.S. at Coney Island, New York. Now we're celebrating roller coasters, but it's Coney Island, and I decided
How are we doing it?
We're celebrating it with Coney dogs. Let's take a look. Oh, Becky, look at her girthy tube of meat. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm having right there. So
Here's the thing. I'm a New Yorker. He's a Michigander.
Yep.
Coney Island is in New York. And the whole reason that we're celebrating that it's 137 years since the first roller coaster in the U.S.
Yeah.
is because it makes it easy for the artwork. That's the whole reason.
Which I forgot.
So when he said, no, you did the cyclone.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I had the cyclone. Yeah, that was good.
So then he said, can we have Coney dogs? And I was like, sure. I don't know what a Coney dog is, but I bet we could have them. And it is apparently a chili dog with onions and mustard, which is Scott's favorite way to eat a hot dog anyway. I mean,
So
without
good.
the chili or with the chili.
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
onions and mustard.
yeah.
So I felt like that was easy.
Now, there were... do you have a fork?
I
No?
don't.
Shoot, this is going to get messy. Hold on.
I can go get one.
We come prepared. No, I'll give it a shot. People get a kick out of this. So this is how we do it in Michigan. This is a Coney Island. There's a big chain of restaurants called Coney Islands. They're open 24 hours a day. It's Greek food and it's Coney dogs and all of the stuff that makes it makes it worth living. And there were many a time in my 20s and 30s where it's like, hey, it's 4:15 in the morning. We're all still up. Let's go get a Coney dog or 2 or 3. And then you just sit in the booth and eat food that is bad for you and go nowhere, put songs in the jukebox and just go. It's a spectacular, wonderful memory.
Hey, Simorg, nice to see you out there.
Excited. Very
Hey, Michael
excited
Grace, nice to
get
see you
downtown.
out there too. Are
A
you
lot of
going to
people coming
take a bite of
Yeah,
that
oh,
while
yeah.
I'm doing SIGLERbrations?
Take a bite, take a nice bite. I'm going to do it.
Okay,
Here we go.
Oh, that's a giant mess.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go, celebrating the 137th anniversary of the first roller coaster in the United States.
We've got a crew member down on the Stromo. We have crew member down.
By eating a hot dog.
Okay, so there we go.
So also the first, moving on with our main info, the first Saturday night of each month, Steve Rickeberg, who's in the chat room right now, he hosts a Junkies happy hour. Starts at 4 p.m. Pacific time, ends at 11 p.m. Pacific time. I don't think I made you an event, did I, Steve? But the link is the Zoom link is always the same. So if you have that Zoom link and you want to put it in the chat room, that would be great. But that's the first Saturday of every month. The second Saturday of every month, we do a story smack. We'll talk about that in a second. But we missed it the last couple of weeks. But I think Friday, Headlines of the Week, is coming back to Twitch,
We're gonna
right?
do Twitch Headlines of the Week. Shoot, let me see if I have a fancy graphic for that. I don't think that I,
Not yet.
that I do.
I don't think yet.
I don't think that I do. Nope, that's this week in Siglerism. Oh, it's taken us a while to get. Here we go. Oh,
Robert Brisson,
snap, there it is.
Our dogs.
Yes, that's a graphic. That's very nice.
Our dogs don't eat people food. Not supposed to eat people food anyway. But I think that Scott might have left a little morsel or two on the ground. You just spilled it all on yourself.
I know it's all over it's all over me. If anybody wants any Coney Island stuff that fell on my crotch, buffet's open. Have at it.
That's not.
Can we say that on the air?
Well, Richard is going to tell us one way or the other. I'm going to assume no.
And then Headlines of the Week. Great. Let's talk about books. Ready, babe?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about books, baby. Let's talk about you and me. I'm a little backwards on the books. Here we go. Gangster episode number 28 is up, you guys. I threw up a book review for a book called The Power over at ScottSigler.com. Blew me away. I'm going to try and do more of this. I'm going to try and put up more book reviews, but this book was recommended to me by my friends Rebecca and Maria, and I'm like, what are you guys reading? They said, read this. I read this. Spectacular, but swing over to ScottSigler.com and read the review. I was super impressed. And I hear it's going to be a TV show, too, which is going to be great. We've got the Story Smack audio from John Wick is up over at ScottSigler.com. We're pimping hot sauce like there's no end to tomorrow.
Yeah.
And this Sunday we'll have the Gangster episode number 29, where the Double Jeopardy things really start to add up. Fitzroy's rocking and rolling, 2,356 reviews.
Sweet.
You guys are fantastic. I think we're going to have, I'm going to do shots when we get to 2,500. We're going to do shots. What should we do shots of? Like little Patron? Like
I'm
doing
pretty
shots
sure
like a
Tuaca.
soldier. Tuaca. I will do how many shots?
Oh, my God. I have to live in the same house with you.
3. We'll do 3 shots
Lord
of Tuaca.
sakes. If you haven't
we get
had
to
Tuaca,
2,500.
it's very sweet. It's going to be a big night in the
My cousin loves
underground
it.
lair of doom.
My cousin loves it. And it looks like we made some progress. We have not had a chance to look into the issue. I want to get the rookie reviews over in Audible up to 1,000. We're at 880 right now with a 5-star rating, which is great. But a lot of people who aren't who haven't bought an Audible having trouble reviewing, particularly in countries that are non-U.S.
Yeah,
so
and we're
we still
working
have
on
to
it.
look into that. But if you're in the U.S. and you are an Audible customer and you've ever listened to The Rookie, go throw up a review for us. We'd like to get that to 1,000. That'd be super sweet.
Lonely Bob, our friend Rebecca was absolutely not named after Becca the Recca, or vice versa. Both existed before. Well, Scott knew Becca the Recca before he met Rebecca Watson, our good friend. So, no, but she is badass. So, absolutely a badass. So maybe that counts anyway.
God damn, this is a good. My God, you guys. All right, now.
Would you like me to say this while you're chewing?
Yep.
Okay, so Scott today is up to 72,000 completed words on the book 7, the book after the gangster in the GFL. And we've had a handful of people ask, like, dude, are you just going to keep writing the GFL forever? And I appreciate some folks not as big of a fan of the GFL as they are other things. That's fine. No big deal there. So the answer there is no. Scott is absolutely this summer writing two non-GFL things. One, a Marie Curie story for a short story anthology that'll be out in 2022. And 2, he's going to visit the PUV James Keeling. The crypt is on deck for this year, for 2021.
Can't wait.
He's already been doing some structuring. As you guys know, he's an architect, not a gardener when he writes. And so he's been doing some structuring. We won't talk too much about it until he's currently writing it. But the reason he's doing GFL 7 right now is GFL 7 started as the second half of GFL 6. When the first iteration of GFL 6 came out, it was just this behemoth. It was like 300,000 words.
Turgid.
It was
Huge.
huge. And that is a logistical problem to put out, but it also had a very obvious break in the middle, sort of in the middle. So one of the reviewers was J.C. Hutchins, and he made the suggestion that Scott split this book. So we started by trying to make the 7 books of the GFL series into 6 books.
6 became 7, which is now 8.
Right. And then it turned out that 6 was so damn big that now there are 8 books in the GFL series. So he's finishing that because he's been in the GFL for so long now, for the last, I don't know, year or so, doing GFL 6 and also the Stone Wolves, which is out later this summer.
Yeah.
So he's 72,000 words into the second draft of book 7, and he'll be done with that probably by the end of July at the latest. And then he'll move on to the Marie Curie story and then on to the PUV James Keelan.
That's right. Hit him with
In other words,
hit him with that other info, baby girl.
Yeah, in other news, if you guys have sent me emails about The Gangster, which tons and tons and tons of you have, and I'm super grateful, I am churning through every single one of those. But each time I get an email, I look at it, I look at its history, I make sure that we didn't have a conversation before, and I somehow made a different change. I make sure the pricing is correct for you. Obviously, postage prices have gone up, but we're not going to charge you the extra postage because this is our bad. But if anything else is wrong, I want to make sure that all that is right. So it takes a while to get through each one. I will let all you guys know by newsletter, by tweets, by Facebook, by everything. Like, I believe we are ready to ship The Gangster. If you haven't had your question answered, please reach out to me again. But in the meantime, you can just hang tight. It's just, there's only one way to do it right, so I got to be careful and do it slow.
Okay. And let me turn off our little newsletter. There's chili dog crap over everything, you guys. It's
a Coney dog,
it's
apparently.
everywhere. All right, now let's talk about this. Let's go back to Maine. Boom. And now we're talking about what's coming up in our next Story Smack. Well, it's a few weeks away. We just got done. What did we do? I forget.
We just did Top Gun.
We just did Top Gun.
Take my breath away.
That will be in the audio feed soon, but if you haven't seen the video, it's great. Rob Otto did a great job as always.
Yeah.
That's over at facebook.com/Scott Sigler. It's on YouTube. Just go youtube.com/Scott Sigler. And for a little while, like 2 weeks, on Twitch TV. Twitch.tv/Scott Sigler. Go watch it. It's very fun. Or wait for the audio to come in your feed. But the next one coming up July 10th, we're going to get into the Avengers because Black Widow is out a couple of days after, or might come out the day before.
It's the day before. Yeah, it comes out on the 9th.
Black Widow comes out on 7/9.
I haven't seen the Avengers.
We're going to watch together.
Look at her. She's mad. She's like, what?
Like, you didn't. What? What?
How dare you?
Scarlett Johansson is he Johansson or Johansson? I can never figure out.
I think it's Johansson.
Johansson. I think Scarlett Johansson is a very attractive human being.
She is absolutely. All of the Avengers, including those Avengers, are absolutely attractive.
I don't know. Call me crazy. I'm looking forward to the Black Widow, to see her finally get her star turn. Also to see Scarlett dressed up in white leather. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
it's a normal, typical superhero
you're
costume.
You're used to her in black, so you need to see her in white.
The white leather, because she's the good guy now, you know?
There you go.
So there we go. So we're going to watch that. Rob Otto will join us. Please join us for that. Our Story Smacks are a very good time.
There is a meme out there saying that that someone realized after watching The Avengers that Captain America was really Captain Puerto Rico. And I'm sorry to do that to you guys because I can't unsee it now, and maybe neither can you. Sorry.
Oh. Robert Brisson says, just tried to write a review for the rookie, but since I'm from Canada, Audible won't let me send it in unless I bought the book.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that immensely. That is great. Appreciate it. But
we are
nothing we can do. Nothing we can do.
We're working on it. We're trying to see if we can do anything about that.
It's time for SIGLERbrations. SIGLERbrations. Celebrations for people who are in the Siglerism. SIGLERbrations. SIGLERbrations. SIGLERbrations for you. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We have lots of SIGLERbrations. Some of them will actually take place in the photos section, the Junkies photos section, because we have a handful of photos. We have a lot to celebrate, a lot to talk about, a lot to be glad that we're still here to talk about together. Let's get started. Ben Van Loo had a birthday this past week on Monday. So happy birthday to you, Ben. I hope it was terrific. Amanda Graham has a birthday tomorrow. I hope it's terrific, and I hope your little one enjoys celebrating you as well. Stephanie Harvey, my good friend, has a birthday tomorrow, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, tomorrow. So Stephanie, of course, I hope you have a happy birthday. I got your text today. It's private conversation between Stephanie and me, but I am super happy for you. I hope you have a terrific birthday. You're gorgeous as ever, and we're going to show some pictures of you a little bit later. Let's see. Brittany Natazzi has a birthday this coming Saturday. I saw Mike in the chat room. I'm assuming you guys are both there. I hope you have a terrific birthday. Maybe get to even go out this year. Super fun. Aimee Ortega, who is a fellow band chick of mine. She is the Super Weapon fantastic
fiance
guitarist.
of the guitarist.
Yeah, fiance of the guitarist of Super Weapon. Her birthday is also on Saturday, so Aimee, I hope you have a terrific day.
And I heard she found a dress today. But
Yay!
Sebi, the
Of course
incredible guitar player for Super Weapon, Severiano Wada, has not seen the dress yet.
Of course not.
But fortunately, Aimee's one of the lucky ones. Third dress she tried on, that was the one. Boom, done.
Yep.
I think that's great because I know a lot of women try on a whole lot of dresses.
I know, and there were a whole bunch of us last year, my friend Amy and I among them, who kind of had to do all of our wedding dress shopping online and virtually. So we both also got pretty lucky. We had fewer expectations, but both of us got our dresses on the first try.
I'll do the next one.
Okey-doke.
My high school classmate Jim Sevenkoff has a birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday, Jim.
Yeah.
Excited about that.
Mary Ellen Warren, who has been a junkie forever, has a birthday on Sunday. So we hope you have a great day. She's a huge reader, big fan.
And Ma Sigler, Carol Sigler, has a birthday on Tuesday. I think we should try and get Carol on the show.
On Wednesday?
On Wednesday.
Why not?
So that everybody can see how my parents do Zoom.
Yeah, we can.
Let's have a close-up of the right collarbone, Mom. That's perfect. Love it. So
I had
good.
a Zoom this past week with somebody where Scott was like, well, how did it go? You haven't seen them in a while. You haven't talked to them in a while. How'd it go? And I was like, well, her hairline is great. But we'll get there. We'll try that. So, Ma, I hope you have a terrific birthday on Tuesday as well. And then Jared Miller, I see you just joined, or you just mentioned Trisha's wedding dress, but we have a whole bunch of updates from Jared. I have missed over the last few weeks. I do love this because I am a step kid as well. He says this past week, which is actually now a week ago, after a day of my wife's 29-year-old son going through a bad day mentally and emotionally, I was texting with him and offering whatever support and encouragement and advice I could. When we signed off at the end of the night, he texted, "Thanks, Dad." And that's I'm all for clap. That's the first time that Jared's stepson called him Dad. And I know exactly how important that is as a stepkid. And I assume how important it is as a step-parent. So congratulations. That's a beautiful celebration. And I'm very happy for you. On Friday, May 28th, Jared and his wife Trish celebrated their 16th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Fantastic. And they adopted a couple of kittens who we'll get to meet in a little bit for the celebration. And then he says, my lovely bride Trish will have celebrated her birthday on June 1st. So I hope you had a terrific birthday. I'm also a June baby, so congratulations to you. I hope it was terrific.
You have a birthday coming up.
I do. And
I
then
wonder if you're going to get any presents for your birthday.
Did you finish shopping already?
Oh, I'm done.
He's so pleased.
Piece of cake.
I'm pleased too, don't get me wrong.
Now, I might forget birthday/anniversary at some point in the future because that's how my brain works. So this year, as our anniversary is her birthday, I've got birthday and anniversary covered. So I'm going to be like, oh, look who remembered everything. I'm a genius who never forgets anything. So I'm going to wallow and brag about it for a whole year, and then hopefully I don't forget next year.
But here's the thing. It's my 50th birthday and our first wedding anniversary. So it's kind of a big deal, like in this tiny little house, right? Like we got to get next year. Or next week or 2 weeks from now, right? We got to get the 28th right. After that, I mean, who cares about 2nd and 51st?
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
who cares?
I do.
I'd like to make it to 51st. That'd be sweet.
Definitely do, but I don't need to necessarily have a lot of presents.
Do I have time to take another bite while you got
For
got
sure.
one more?
Yeah.
Right.
So, and continuing, we do have an update. Jared's wife, Trish, you guys, I've mentioned she's been going through chemo. The original chemo ended up halted at 4 out of 6 doses after they found a recurrent infection. It pretty much confirmed that the cancer had spread. We've been referred to the City of Hope, and a friend who is an oncology nurse practitioner is going to get a second opinion with a sarcoma specialist she knows, which I love about that. And he says, I guess a bright spot, a light of hope, shall we say, is that she doesn't have any back pain and she feels completely normal going on 2 months without chemo. And I got to tell you, they say all the time that, you hear all the time that like attitude is everything. And I think to a certain amount, to a certain degree, that's absolutely true. You go into it with a bad attitude, you'll have a bad attitude, back and forth. That said, it's a pretty remarkable thing that you can find a ray of hope, a light of hope in there. And we're all pulling for Trish just as much as you guys are. So I hope you have a terrific celebratory month for your anniversary and birthday. And no pain from lack of chemo and all that other stuff.
Fabulous.
And we can't wait for the next update. All righty. So if you guys have anything you want to celebrate, and you just heard, not everything is peaches and cream, but we want to celebrate with you, please email about birthdays, anniversaries, promotions, any celebration you want to info@emptyset.com, and we will celebrate you this summer.
We have 2 advertisers this week. One who actually paid us for the last episode. Not for this episode, but we like the product so much, we're going to just advertise it for free, in effect.
Which is true, actually, and the first time we're ever
nonstop.
doing it, but we really enjoyed it. So,
And this advertiser, though, this is the one that we pay for the glory of putting them up. So, baby, tell them about the Last Prisoner Project.
So this was a sponsor, a charity recommended by our good friend Simorg, who's in the chat room. She she works in the cannabis industry, and if you guys are not in a state that is 420 friendly, cannabis is now being made available for sale and consumption for entertainment all around the U.S. and obviously other places in the world. Not quite everywhere yet, but it's getting there. And one of the things that's happening is there are people who are incarcerated for what are now absurd crimes, like from having carried less than 200 grams of weed back in the day was illegal, and now I can buy a pound of weed if I want in California. And so if I can just walk into a store and buy it, the fact that they were carrying a tiny little bit of it on their person 10 years ago, they probably shouldn't be incarcerated still. So the Last Prisoner Project is a nonprofit organization dedicated to cannabis criminal justice reform. LPP was founded in 2019 out of the belief that if anyone is able to profit and build wealth in the legal cannabis industry, those individuals must also work to release and rebuild the lives of those who have suffered from cannabis criminalization. And if you live in California or a weed-friendly state, it's a remarkably difficult thing to think about that there are quite literally thousands of inmates for having had a tenth of the weed that I could buy on any given day in a store.
Crazy.
Like just walk in with my driver's license, no special license, no special taxes, no special nothing. And they're, in jail for 10, 20, 30 years because, of course, we had a 3-strike law, too.
And this is a really important one. Now, granted, these people who are incarcerated for this, they broke the law at the time. Was it a fair law? We're not judging in that. But now that everything is legal, most things are legal. What is the point of keeping people in prison with prison overcrowding, and it's just a ton of taxpayer dollars?
Non-violent crimes.
So this is a wonderful
and
charity.
They're no longer criminal. The things that are happening now are no longer criminal. So clemency is really important, and especially in a equalizing way, because of course the 3-strike laws and criminalization of cannabis overly affected some minorities in our country. So we're trying to fix that. I think this is a terrific charity. As you guys know, we always donate something to the charities that we feature. If you can share it, if you can donate to it, we'll make our world a better and more just place.
Swing back to the main camera. I have 2 things to say. EK Fred in the chat room. He's visiting us on YouTube. He has used the GoDaddy code from scottsigler.com/GoDaddy. CJC SIG 99C, which get you a domain for $4.99. You can't beat that deal. But he said he's finally got one, and I asked him what it was. He said it's going to be a surprise. He won't tell me. Point number 2: if you work in a place that makes cans or cans food, you work in a cannery. So is Simorg, does she work in a cannabisery?
She works in a dispensary, but I do think she's a bud tender. Well, she might not be a bud tender, but that's what they call the people who help you.
I want someone to open up a store called the Cannabissery and serve.
You're going to have to talk to Lizzo.
Serve weed in cans. That's what I would like.
Talk to Lizzo.
Okay, I'll talk.
Lizzo has the accessory. My ass is not an accessory. I can't remember what that lyric is. Damn, I'm terribly.
I got Lizzo on speed dial, baby. I'll just give her a quick shout out. It'll be fine. All right. Now. Advertising one. Now it's time for the best part of the show. It's time to see some puppies that everybody loves. Let's go to the pup date picture, and our small picture is. Whoops!
Whoop! Oh. Surprise! I told you, Steph. We're coming for you.
I put the Steph Harvey picture in the wrong folder.
You did.
We're just gonna go ahead.
Did I do
Where
that?
is that coming? Well, that's in Pup Show. Got it. No, you didn't do that. That was me. I screwed it up.
Look at tiny baby Reese.
Oh, that's my tiny baby Reese. I'm using the screensaver from Apple Photos a lot, and so many pictures of her coming up now. Now she's a very distinguished 7-year-old with all the gray around the muzzle, and the pictures that are all coming up, she is just one chocolate uniform, perfect color, and it's very fun. I put this picture up because that's a hell of a smile.
It is a hell of a smile. That is Reese at the former lair of Døøm.
Yep.
And this was probably absolutely in 2014 because she's wearing that collar that Amy got for her.
Oh,
That's
nice.
a seatbelt collar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Robert Brisson says, hey, FTO, wanted to make sure, let's pop over to chat. Want to make sure that you got another good review, so I literally just bought and downloaded The Rookie. I sent in my review. One more for the good guys. You're the good guy. You're the good guy, Robert. Thank you. Awesome. I appreciate that. Let's get back to the dogs. And our big pup picture today is, hey, that's me.
That is you having turned in
I have no idea which book.
Fitzroy, I believe.
Yeah.
The first draft of Fitzroy. If you can't quite see it, but next to Reese, there's another little sort of a silvery gold bottle top there. Mm-hmm. And so she has champagne. And the blue bottle is Manichewitz wine that Evan Diamond, band leader of Evan Diamond Library, gave to Squeaky and Reese for Hanukkah. So they don't get to actually chew those toys because we love them so much. They only get to play with them when we're also celebrating a book thing. So Scott is drinking champagne because he turned in what was the first draft of Fitzroy to Audible. Mm-hmm. And the dogs are celebrating as well. and I'm surely drinking champagne behind the scenes.
It is very hot in here, you guys. I will tell you that right now. Now we'll take this off. Let's go to the pup show. And that is incorrect. That's in the wrong place. So there's our first pup pick. Tell people about this.
You guys, Ruthie, you're in the room, I know. This is Lucy. Oh, my goodness, do I love this pup. Let's see. Ruthie sent in an email not too long ago that says, I adopted another dog. As you guys know, we went through the beautiful project of Faith with Ruth. And Faith was a very sick Basset who got to live out her very best days with Ruthie. And then Lucy Jane came home. Lucy Jane was found wandering the streets of Tempe, Arizona by herself in late April 2021.
Peanut.
No tags, no microchip. Mm-hmm. She was obviously someone's pet and well taken care of before being forced to fend for herself. Thankfully, she wasn't on the streets for long until a kind stranger took her to a local vet.
Okay.
The vet called Arizona Basset Hound Rescue, and the rescue, of course, called Ruthie because they're the bomb, the absolute bomb, so I would call them too. I took her in as a foster, and when her humans didn't come back for her, we made the adoption official. She loves couches and belly rubs. She's also so tiny. Look at how sweet and tiny she is. I mean, compared to your last two Bassets, she's a teeny tiny girl.
Teeny tiny thing. All right.
I love this. There's I think there might be another picture. I'm not sure of Lucy, but you can go to the next one.
Next one is...
That's Lucy.
Oh, there we go.
Apparently on the beach. Such a cutie patootie. Congratulations. What a lucky girl.
Robert Brisson. I don't know what you're saying is you're bad, Robert, but I'm sure if you put up a review, it's great. Next one we have. Who is this Peanut?
Oh my goodness!
This looks like an angry werewolf.
Well, kind of. You've met Newton. You've met Newton. Yeah, this is Shannon and Jen's and Marianne's pup. Newton.
That literally looks like the mid-transformation stage of American Werewolf in London. Look at it. That is a human
well,
face
you'll love this because
just changing into werewolf.
And he's so cute. He's so sweet. When Shannon sent this picture in, she said, our favorite little asshole Newton. He's a Chihuahua pit bull. No idea. Don't ask.
Okay.
We rescued him from hustling milk bones in dark alleys like the true gangster he is. But on the flip side, he has an uncanny knack for knowing when somebody really, really needs love, and he has the best Elvis snaggletooth around.
Fabulous.
We met him. He's adorable. He's a little bit fussy, but he's adorable. And I do love a Chihuahua.
Let's go to the next one. What do we got here?
Oh, come on, Rich. Come on. This is Missy. And our friend Rich is a cat lover. And I know you I don't remember exactly when, but I know you recently lost one of your true loves. And this is Missy. And Missy came home a week ago. He says, I brought my new little devil home. Named Missy. She's an 8-week-old ball of fur, sharp teeth, and many needle-like claws. So we've got, I think, a couple. We might have another one of her.
I think so.
Oh, come on. So cute. What a lucky, lucky girl. I'm so glad she came home to you.
This is their Indiana Jones pick. Like the stone door is sliding shut, and she is just sliding.
She's looking
through
back
it
at Rich.
right before it closes.
Going, Pops, come with me if you want to live. Now.
And then we have, who are these guys?
So I mentioned earlier that Jared and Trish, for their 16th wedding anniversary, adopted a couple of pups or a couple of kittens, and these are them. He says, over Memorial Day weekend, my bride and I went to our county's animal shelter and adopted 2 kittens. We've named them Huck and Jasper.
Okay.
They are both gray and white tabbies, but are from different litters. They look enough alike and are close enough in age that I joked if the 2 litters were found in the same general area, they might actually share a papa cat.
Wow.
Huck is slightly larger, and if you want to scroll through, we've got a picture of each of them.
Okay.
Huck is, well, let's see.
It's one of the 2.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't tell.
It's one of the 2.
And then the
And
next
then we
one
have
is
the other
Jack.
one.
Oh, nope. You are desperate to show.
I overwrote that. That's what I did. I saved it in the wrong place.
Okay.
So we don't have the other cat, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry
But
about
they're
that.
adorable.
My
Congratulations.
bad.
What a fun anniversary. I didn't realize the 16th anniversary was kittens, but I'm excited. I'm pretty excited for my 16th wedding anniversary. I'm not going to lie to you.
If I am neither incarcerated nor full of holes from my Colombian drug runs at our 16th anniversary, we will consider a cat. I'm not going to say we'll get a cat. All right, so that was Junkie. Oh, now we go pup date. Now we go to Junkie Pics. Now we'll see that picture that we all wanted to see. Let's go to it. What do we have here, babe?
Okay. So remember, I told you that we were going to do some of our junkie celebrations, our Siglebrations, while we were doing photos. We obviously met Huck and Jasper, and that was part of the Siglebrations, and so is this. I know you can't tell. This looks like doppelgangers.
Yeah, with twins. Look like twins.
So on the right side, closest to me in this photo, is my husband, Scott. The other person there who looks just like Scott, that's Munchkin Pond. Munchkin Pond came to Siglerfest in 2018. We always had a costume contest, and she chose to dress like
great.
the
It's
FDO,
great.
and it was epic, you guys. Absolutely epic. She did language, like phrases and everything. It was very, very cool. But
Yes.
we're actually celebrating Munchkin because child, did she have a great, 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 great year. So let's see. For her freshman year in high school, she her stepmom says she completely kicked butt, but she completely kicked ass. She had straight A's in every class for the entire year. She was active in all 8 school clubs she signed up for, including the multicultural and 2 different book clubs from around the county.
Okay.
She was one of a select few students nominated by teachers to be part of an overhaul of the student handbook. Due to school spirit and competing in challenges, she was named to the 9th grade MVP for her first semester.
Fabulous.
And then she's super sporty, unlike me. She had a certificate for 9th grade basketball where she received her graduation year number patches for her Letterman's jacket already. A certificate for varsity volleyball, also with the manager's pin for her Letterman's jacket.
Okay.
A certificate for varsity softball along with a school letters patch and the softball pin. A plaque and recognition for being the most improved player of the year for varsity softball.
Great.
And was the teen winner of the local Great Library Bake-Off competition for our county.
Very nice.
We know her. We love her. She's fantastic. She's kind. She's loving. She's generous. Congratulations, Munchkin. I hope you have a great summer.
Next one we have.
This is my friend.
I don't know.
An embarrassing photo. I just talked about them earlier in this cast.
No. Is that Ruth?
And that's Ruth. And if you look, you can totally see like
so
by like between their nose and their lip, like right here, this looks just like Ruthie, right?
Yeah.
I I have to tell you guys, everybody's sending in embarrassing photos, and they're never embarrassing. They're always fantastic.
I disagree. I think all the high school photos are all embarrassing. And I since I post my own embarrassing photos to start this off, I'm laughing at everyone. I'm lovely doing it. Our next one is, what's going on here? Who's this?
This is so fun, you guys.
Great
this is going to take a minute. So Michael Grace is in the chat room. This is his son, I believe, also named Michael.
Nice.
Michael, not messing around.
Good form. Good form.
District champions for 2020. Let's see. South Dakota High School Class A track and field held May 28th and 29th, winning his heat. That's this.
Fantastic.
Getting second overall.
Is that the next one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Second overall. That's all. And then on the pedestal.
Little battle cry. Little battle cry.
It's awesome.
Cross
and look,
finish
like
line,
and his both of his fists are like, yeah, we're doing this. Let's go.
And then,
and this is him
fabulous.
hamming it up. Hang on, hamming it up, doing the medal bite on the podium. So I love this. Congratulations to both the Michaels. This is such an awesome thing, and I'm so glad that he got to have this moment in this crazy past year.
Clearly,
so it's
a lot.
lovely.
Obviously, you look at him. A lot of hard work went into this.
Absolutely.
Congratulations on all the effort, hard work.
Okay.
Oh, that's got to be Stephen King.
That's your friend Stephen King. My very favorite thing about this photo is he emailed it, and Stephen is a good personal friend of ours. We saw him when we were on our honeymoon. We spent time at his house on our honeymoon. Obviously, when he sent in the email, he said, "I am doing this against all my better judgment."
Yeah.
Here you go.
Correct.
And that's it.
Correct.
I don't know how old he is in this. Obviously, this is a band photo. You look fantastic, Stephen. But my favorite was doing this against my better judgment. So yeah, that's Stephen.
I like I'm stoic with a trombone. That's a hard stoic to pull off.
And the flame retardant outfit.
Yes.
Too. Yeah. I had one of those myself. This is, of course, my good friend Stephanie Harvey in her senior class photo. Yet again,
so
also
great.
Embarrassing, theoretically an embarrassing photo.
Well, the feathered hair is spectacular stuff.
But she mentioned, like I said, we're doing some SIGLErations here too. May 31st was her husband JP's, who's a secret agent, was his birthday. Mm-hmm. So happy birthday, JP.
Happy birthday.
Tomorrow, as I mentioned earlier in the cast, tomorrow is Stephanie's birthday. So congratulations to you two. Happy birthday. And next week on the 26th is their 28th wedding anniversary.
Oh, there's the picture.
There it is.
Yay!
I love this photo so much. It's so classic. It's so of its time. You know, it's beautiful. And what a gorgeous dress. And
it's very cool.
What a beautiful bouquet, and what a lovely couple. So congratulations to you guys. I also will say, Stephanie posted a throwback photo, like a pics something photo of their son, Paul, today, when he first started competing in MMA, and now.
We'll show it next week.
We'll show it next week because it's just so stinking adorable and a little terrifying.
A little
so
terrifying.
We'll do that next week for sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to get on to what we're doing. We're friggin' slinging hot sauce. That's what we do these days. We
didn't even bring any up.
Well, I could have had some on the chili dog, but I already ate the whole damn Coney dog. This stuff we're advertising, heartbeathotsauce.com. Father's Day is coming up. You can use the code SIGLER to save 20% on your entire order. They have got a fantastic little 4-pack here somewhere. You can get 4 together. Buy it now. Save 20%. Send it to your pops if your pops is a hot sauce kind of guy. If you're an MMA fan, they've got Poirier's, I don't know how to pronounce it. Poirier's Louisiana Style, which is Dustin Poirier, UFC fighter. That's his own. He's a Louisiana boy, and they made him a Louisiana Style hot sauce. We are mowing this stuff down like crazy. We love it. That's why we decided to give him a freebie and let it go tonight.
And also that they are, if you order by tomorrow at noon, they are supposed to ship it out before Father's Day. It may not arrive before Father's Day, but they're supposed to ship it out.
Fabulous. We've got audio gremlins. Everything was fine, and audio drops a little bit. We can't quite figure it out, but we're working on it. And, you did have This Week in SIGLErism, which I did not prepare.
That's okay.
So now we're moving to, you know what time it is?
I don't.
Let's go back to Maine. Let's go back to your camera. And I think it's time for questions. We've got questions. We're got to finish chewing our food. We're not sure what to say. We've got questions.
He's working on the hot sauce, I think. He's got the heartbeat hot sauce.
He's like, hold on.
Like, that pineapple, hang on, it is hot.
I've got a question. I don't know.
No, it did get a little bit hot.
That's our question song for today. Here we go. And now we are back to questions from all of you people. Should we flip the light on? Are we too dark now all of a sudden?
I don't know. I don't think we're too dark. Do you guys think we're too dark?
Yeah, let us know what you think in the lights. Do we look too dark? Do we look too... We're very pale. We're as pale as pale gets. There's no way around it. Let's go, babe. What's our first question?
So you guys, if you have questions in the chat room, please feel free to ask them.
Monkey Pants panels. Monkey Panis says lighting and sound are good. Jeff Hexter says we look fine. Thank you, Jeff. I knew we looked fine. I was just fishing for compliments.
Do you know?
I wasn't underconfident. I was fishing.
Do you know my brother Jude, who's in the chat room, when Jude got his first car? Was it the Sunfire? Anyway, when he got his first car, the sunscreen thing in the passenger side, or maybe that was the Jeep, didn't have a mirror when you pulled it down, so it didn't have a little check your makeup mirror, and Jude threatened to put a sign there that said "You look fine." I don't know if you ever did that. Did you ever do that, Jude? I don't remember seeing it, but I always laugh when I pull a sunscreen down and there's no mirror there. I say to myself, "You look fine."
All right.
There you go. So,
where were we? I forgot.
We're doing questions.
Questions. Yeah, questions.
Kim Hansen asked sometime earlier in the last few months, what do we think the future of movie theaters is?
I think movie theaters are definitely going to come back, and there's just something irreplaceable about the experience of shelling out too much money to go to a building with other people that you don't know and don't like, spending way too much money for candy and popcorn, dropping $12.50 on a crappy hamburger and something that's a taco. Like that experience is spectacular because to me, it all comes back to the fact I'm going to buy that $7.50 small hot dog. Then I'm going to go to the condiment table and I'm going to take all the mustard, all the onions. I'm going to put 72 packs of relish in my pocket. Anything that's in a package.
Do you eat relish?
No, I just screw them. Screw them. You are now funding my relish habit, motherfucker. That's what you're doing with your crazy prices. I get satisfaction out of this. I'm crotchety. I'm old. I need my entertainment. But anyways, you go to a movie. You can have all your home theater. We watch a lot of stuff at home. Our TV is perfectly fine. It's not really tricked out. We don't have surround sound or anything like that. It's perfectly fine for us. We're in a small place. We had a much bar. When we were at the office of Døøm, we had a much bigger. We had full surround sound. We had a projector up on the wall. It was great. We could have like 20 people over at a time. It was spectacular. It's not the same thing as seeing a movie in a 40-foot screen with the professional sound and the bass just shaking everything. So I think that because they have something that is irreplaceable, that they will continue to do fine. Once we get past the Delta variant, which is on its way, I think we're going to see movie theaters do okay. Then we're going to see them do okay.
And I'll say I think there's something. It'll be interesting to see what happens with movie theaters. I agree. I think they'll come back. In the before times, right before, in the handful of years before the pandemic, we started to see sort of a zhuzhing up of movie theaters where you could go and order good food, pub food from your seat. You could order alcohol to your seat. You could order fancy pants like sushi and things like that, depending. In California, that theater experience is called Cinépolis, but I'm sure there's Alamo Drafthouse, which is similar. There's many versions of the high-end movie experience, and I think that will continue. I think that, in a sense, sort of replaces getting dressed up and going out to the theater like 100 years ago. And, of course, movies replaced theaters in that same way. I do think that will survive. I also think we're going to have a hybrid where some things will be 2 weeks released only in the theater, and then they'll come to HBO Plus or something like that. They're going to do that, is what I think, because we're not done with this.
There were a couple of MMA fights, and we now probably every second or third big UFC card we get the pay-per-view, and it's very expensive. But there were a couple fights that when COVID hit, usually we would go to the bar and, buy food, buy drinks, tip heavily, make sure that the people working that night got well paid. But that still wasn't as much as the pay-per-view itself. And we got that community feeling, and it was great. But then that went away, and there were a couple of fights that I felt we couldn't miss, so we bought them. And some are $60, some are $70. But that is an irreplaceable experience with the UFC. It's like 6 hours of entertainment that you've got on the whole time. And I think that movie theaters will kind of be a similar thing. Sometimes you just want to go for all the pageantry, Go to the dollar store, buy all your own snacks, buy a Charleston chew, slip it down like the inside of your pants, which I used to do. Sometimes they melt, but that's okay. And you get in just the ceremony of it, the pomp and circumstance of going out to the theater to watch a major tentpole movie.
Yeah.
And when it's a Marvel movie, it's an Avengers movie, it's a Star Wars movie, you absolutely can watch that at home and it's great. It's not the same thing. So I think those will still do very well.
For sure. And it doesn't happen very much here in California, but I grew up in New York. And if you go to the movies in New York City, if you go to the movies on Manhattan Island, especially if you go in Times Square, everybody's going to scream at the characters on the screen. They're going to be like, no, no. They're going to do all that. And it's absolutely a thing you have to lean into and understand that that's going to happen. But if you do, it's a beautiful experience.
Unfortunately, my wife has been introduced to, now she's known for a while, but she lives with a writer who analyzes every word of dialogue, every bit of exposition. So A is currently in the boot camp for how to shout out or throw out all your thoughts of the movie only in moments when the characters are taking a breath, so that when they talk, you don't miss anything. It's a whole separate martial arts form.
And you guys, so we have known each other since 2009. And we started dating in, 2018?
I don't know.
Late 17?
I couldn't tell.
We're 18.
There were days, I don't know.
But we've known each other and worked together, and he moved to San Diego in 2014. And I still didn't learn that lesson until last year. All this time, I still was like, oh, do you think? And he's like,
yeah, it's pretty obnoxious. I don't know how to properly express myself, so I'm like, hold on, gotta rewind. And
but he never makes that face. He doesn't get mad at me. You don't visibly get mad. I know he's doing this to avoid getting mad at me, and it's quite literally a complete until I get it right. But I'm getting better.
All right, what's our next question, sweets?
So for both of us, Daniel Ball asks, who is your favorite Sigler character and your favorite Sigler story?
You go first.
I will. It's super easy for me. My favorite character, no holds barred, is John Tweedy. I think he is a legacy, unique character that is accessible to everybody, where Biznaz is, of course, a remarkable character, not accessible to everybody. John Tweedy, accessible to everybody. Everybody has messed up a metaphor. Everybody has done any sort of silliness that he does. I also love that one of John's, I think it's John, right? John has the line, "Beer, why do you hate me so?" That is a quite literally a quote from John Vizcarra at a Sigler Fest the day after he had a little too much beer. And I was already Sigler Fest is always a big administrative thing for me. I'm always up at 4 a.m., always setting up the room, always doing something. So that happens. And I get a phone call from Scott, who's still in his room, saying, can you make a note we have to add? And I'm like, beer? Why do you hate me so? Yes, we have to add that to a book. So John is, without question, John Tweedy is my favorite character. And no holds barred, my favorite story of Scott's is Red Man.
Right now, I think my favorite is still Pookie Chang. Pookie Chang is the human that I want to be. Pookie Chang, I watch after, growing up wrestling, and where weight was a very front and center thing is your weight when you were a wrestler. And that doesn't affect all wrestlers when they get older. But for me, I'm like, okay, I want to keep this under control, even though I'm getting older. And Pookie doesn't give shit. Pookie goes and eats all the stuff he wants to eat all the time. Pookie always has the perfect comeback all the time, when I don't get the perfect comeback until 2 weeks after. And Pookie has something that I don't have, that I wish I had, that my dad has, is this borderline photographic memory of people and names and the things that matter to those people. So you run into someone like, oh, Sam, how you doing? Is your dog still with us, or did that cancer take her out? Like stuff like that for a person you haven't seen in 3 years. That I've watched my dad do it time and time again. He has a great memory for it, and it touches people so deeply to know that this guy, who when he's a football coach in a small town in Michigan, you're a very important person.
Yeah.
This important person knows you, remembers stuff about you, and actually gives a shit about you. It means a lot, and I care about all of you and all the things, but when it comes to remembering a name or remembering like that thing you told me that one time 2 years ago, I don't have the machinery for that. So I'm jealous of Pookie Chang. So I wrote Pookie Chang. Pookie Chang's kind of the guy I wish I was.
And what about a story?
A favorite story? My favorite stories. They're all over the place. I'm a big fan of Passenger, the Passenger virus. I think that is the best horror I have done to date. Although I'm working on a concept for a thing called Snowflake right now, which I think will be pretty messed up. But Passenger, you know, the concept of spoiler alert, and the Passenger stories will not only be in the crypt. The Passenger virus will be a ongoing part of the crypt, and it's gross. But the thing that, you know, your brain sends all these signals to run your body and do all. Excuse me.
That was me. I think. Thank you.
Yeah, taking a bullet for you. You know, your brain sends all these messages to make your body ambulate, do all these different things, the conscious, the subconscious, the autonomous stuff. And it's easily conceivable that if you can figure out how to hijack those signals, you can make someone be a living puppet. And it doesn't mean that they are unconscious. It doesn't mean they're not aware. It just means you've interrupted the flow from their brain to their body and taken over the flow from that point on. So the passenger story is incredibly terrifying to me, to know that you could be trapped in your own head while your body is out doing horrible things to people. And in the Passenger story, there's some horrible things. And if you don't know what that is, you'll just have to read the crypt. So that's my favorite story right now.
I will. I want to go back to you talking about Coach. I think I've told this story before, but the first time I ever met Coach, we were on the rookie tailgate tour, and we had gone to Michigan, and we were going to stay at their house. And so we get there, and Scott doesn't tell me ahead of time. Like, he talks about his folks, but he doesn't really talk about what's going to happen when we get there. So every other day on the tour, we get to the hotel. I do my thing. He does his thing. I don't see him till 7 a.m. the next day. But this, obviously, we're going to stay in the house. They're going to make dinner. And Coach is cooking. And I love to cook. And I love to cook with somebody making a recipe they love, because you learn a lot. And so I'm like, may I help? And he says, absolutely, obviously, of course, you're talented. And this is the thing that Coach does really well. He sees the best in you, whether or not you see it. I know you've got this in you. I know you can do this. I know you didn't mean that. You mean this, that kind of thing. And it's really powerful. And so I am like, yes, I'm ready to help. And he gives me a bowl of cherry tomatoes. And he says, cut them in half.
Cut them in half. Really
cut them in
difficult.
half if you think you can handle it. And all of a sudden, I am flummoxed. Like, how do you fuck up cutting a cherry tomato in half? Like, I'm pretty sure I can handle it, but what am I missing? Because he's so encouraging all the time that I figure, oh my goodness, what is he trying to gently tell me? Nothing. I just cut them all in half and it was fine. But I was so flummoxed because he's such an encouraging guy that I was like, ooh.
I'll make this. I'll make this quick. Let's get another question in. We're doing pretty good on time. We got time for a couple more questions. My dad had this skill for yelling at you, making you feel like you're an idiot, but doing it with nothing but positivity. So at the end of the lecture/yelling session, you are mad at yourself and no one else because you know you could do better. So one of the things he would do would, like, Dr. Daniel Baker, PhD, is not in the room tonight, but he would say to Dr. Daniel Baker, who has always been a very smart cat, right? Mm-hmm. Playing football, and Danny would miss a blocking assignment. Coach said, all right, you got to double down on the linebacker, kick him out. And Danny would miss it a second time. The whistle would blow and be like, God damn it, Danny Baker, you're supposed to double team the linebacker and clear him out of there so that our tailback can come through. I don't understand why you're not doing this. You're smarter than this, Danny Baker. This is a trivial task for you to perform with your brain power. You're way smarter than this. I don't understand why you're not getting it. Be as smart as you are. Run it again. And it was
as smart as you are is epic.
It was fucking incredible to watch. He also had a psychology degree. So you put a grown-ass man with a psychology degree on a football field with a bunch of 16, 17, 18-year-olds. It's shooting fish in a barrel. But always the, you're smarter than this. you're more talented than this. You're more coordinated than this. You can remember this. There was always, that older dude breathing down your neck because you screwed up of something you knew you're supposed to do. But then you're right. I am smarter than this. I can do this. So it was great.
Robert Tinarella?
Rob Tinarella? Tin Man.
Says,
Tin
I loved
Man.
learning from him.
Yeah, Tin Man. Tin Man. We had some great times with Tin Man on the football field, and I'm sure Tin Man remembers what we're talking about. I'm sure Tin Man got it too. But it was always like when you screwed up, you knew you screwed up, and our coaching staff always presented it in a way where you are so much better than this. Why are you being less than you already are? What's our next question?
Well, I want to bring up a couple things. Sean Dyer, hello, Sean Dyer. He mentions that The Great Snipe Hunt is one of his favorite Sigler stories, which is unique and fun and cool. And if you are unfamiliar with that, you should grab one of the short story collections and read that. And Smorg Jorabachi, she says Broken Glass kind of screwed her up, which is super powerful too.
Good.
So
Good.
If you guys are looking for Sigler reading recommendations, apparently short stories are where it's at.
Yep, we'll have all those short stories in an anthology in the future. Once we got time for 2 more questions, sweetheart, and then we'll knock it out.
I want to make sure that we didn't have any in the chat room that I am missing.
All right, I'm going back through here. If you got questions in the chat room, ask them. We'll try and get to them right now. No, I don't think you missed any. Doesn't look like we have any today.
Yeah, and there's a weirdness that you are not seeing the same thing I'm seeing, strangely.
Oh yeah,
I see a lot of Robin Taylor. I'm seeing a lot.
Oh, that's not in here.
Samorg. I'm seeing a lot.
Oh, you're right. I'm not seeing those. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, Sean Dyer. I didn't know. Yeah, so I'm just double checking so that we don't miss any of that.
Jeff Hexter, Tentacles, and More Tentacles is not my favorite story. It's very bad. It's a Pulitzer Prize winning story if Pulitzers were measured at the 3rd grade level. I will say that. But they're not, so I didn't win it. What's up, babe?
Oh, right. So that was Daniel. So let me delete that. Trevor Haney is not in the chat room tonight, so I'm not going to ask that question.
Okay.
Amy Reed and Jim Lockett asked us both, tell us a story about a time you got physically lost. And she already told me that Ira Ann
physically
doesn't count.
lost?
Yeah.
How many times can I tell you the number of times I got lost? I'm not good with directions.
What about when you were on a snowmobile?
Oh, Jesus. That's right. Okay. So, in my earlier days of writing, I decided that I was going to be the Jack London of the modern day. So Jack London, of course, was in the Yukon, was in Alaska, was on sailing vessels across the ocean, was just a straight up baller human, right? Jack London did a lot of the stuff that's in those books. It's my favorite writer. So I said, well, you know what? If I'm going to write about Earth Core, if I'm going to write about people in a cave, I'm going to find the deepest cave I can go into without certification. That was the Mammoth Caves of Kentucky, I think. And did the whole hard climb, did all the stuff. It was great. I gathered so much for the book. For Ancestor, I was like, well, this takes place in the Upper Peninsula, and a lot of it is in the deepest, darkest winter. So I decided I was going to fly into Houghton Hancock Airport, which is near the base of the Keweenaw Peninsula, and I was going to then travel to the very tip of the Keweenaw Peninsula. I was going to go get a cabin, and then I was going to stay there for a week. I was going to knock out anywhere from 50 to 60,000 words that week, knock out a book. This seemed like a great plan.
I mean, it was a great plan.
This place was so remote, I rented a snowmobile at the airport. So I'm at the airport.
So cool.
And I rented a snowmobile. And the snowmobile lady said, she said, okay, oh yeah, do you want to take the main path or the new path, eh? And I'm like, what do you mean? What's the new path? Like, oh, it's pretty well traveled, but not a lot of people know it. It'll be a little bit more rustic, eh? And I'm like, I'll take that. Her definition of the new path was a logging road that was, the path was marked only by faded pink ribbons up in tree branches every quarter mile or so. Also, I had a 70-pound backpack on because I said I was going to backpack in. Jack London, that's me. And I'm in the snowmobile, and this was a logging road, and the divots were like 6 feet. Up, down, up, down.
And how new was the new road? Like 30 years new?
It was not a road.
Or
it
new.
was a logging. If you guys don't know, it was a logging trail. It was insane. So after an hour on this thing, I haven't seen another human being. I haven't seen a house. I haven't seen a power line. I'm getting a little bit nervous. Every time the snowmobile dropped into a divot, I had that 70-pound backpack just smashing on me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to lighten this pack up a little bit. I lighten it up, take stuff out of the pack, strap it down to various parts of the snowmobile. My back is killing me. So I take my black clamshell MacBook Pro, put it on behind me, all netted down and everything, strapped down on the seat.
But naked.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
It's naked. But I like Jack London, I know how to tie knots. Narrator, he didn't know how to tie knots. So we're rolling. I come across a place. Okay, now there's more people. There's 70-year-olds in snowmobiles. There's a place stop to get something to eat. It's sunny. I'm like, okay, I feel a lot better. My back's a little bit better. Stop, look back. And at some point on the trail, the computer had fallen off of the snowmobile. We are in 8 feet of snow when you're off the trail. I'm like, this is very bad because it's not my computer. It's work's computer. Like, this is bad.
And it's where you're supposed to write your 60,000 words,
This is
right?
this is very, very bad. Remember, I'm still on the way up to the cabin where I will stay for a week. Turn a snowmobile around in full-on early 20-something crippling heart palpitation panic. Not realizing now at this age, you're like, well, I guess that's going to be expensive. We'll have to fix that. Like, now I'm old enough to be like, this sucks. We'll get over it. I'm like, oh my God, I'll ask computer. I'm so going to get fired. This is going to suck. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm going to be homeless. I'm going to wind up sleeping. I'm going to be a hobo sleeping in a train car. I got to find the computer. Oh my God.
Sleeping in a train car.
Sleeping in a train car. So I turn around, I drive back, and I'm looking, and I'm driving real careful. And then somebody passes by the other way. Cute girl passes by the other way with her, like, color coordinated snowsuit and helmet and everything. And she waves. I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? Crunch. I ran over my own computer that was buried a little bit in the trail of snow. So I get off the computer. I get off the snowmobile, get the computer. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so going to jail. This is grand larceny. I broke work. And I pick it up. I'm like, well, I guess I first of all, it's starting to get dark. So I'm going to have to get to the cabin, which is still a good 2 hours away. So I get on, I put it back in the backpack, put the backpack on, drive up north, keep driving. And now once I get past that little bump of civilization, this is the friggin' Yukon, you guys. I mean, I drove 2 hours without seeing another sign of civilization. I'm not talking about a person, nothing. And then I realized I was lost because these logging trails go every which way. It's not like one trail. They thread all over the place. I can't see these pink ribbons anymore because it's starting to get dark. And I am looking around. I'm like, well, I do have a survival knife. I'm probably going to have to build a lean-to. I think I'm going to have to build a lean-to. And I decide, then I'm like, maybe I'm lost. And I try and turn the snowmobile around. Snowmobile, drive it off the main path, which was a big mistake because the main path was an old train track. The once I was on this. So as soon as I go off the path, the whole snowmobile drops down into 8 feet of snow. Foomp, and I was so deep in snow, I was like this, looking around. So I get off.
Oh, no.
I get off the snowmobile and I get back up on the trail and I'm like, I'm going to die here. Okay, I have to now build a lean-to and start a fire.
In 8 feet of snow.
And then, of course, I remember watching the Hulk as a kid. Well, the Hulk had a sudden burst of strength and he flipped that car over, crawl down, dig through the snow, grab the front of the snowmobile. Hey! Guess what? I wasn't the Hulk. Couldn't pull the whole snowmobile.
I mean, come on.
Then
now
the
we
engine
sort of
froze.
do.
Then the engine froze and I couldn't start the engine. And I'm like, oh my God, I am in so much trouble. I mean, I was a Cub Scout. I might survive the night. It's about 50-50. And then finally I hear, "Meow," and this guy comes along, old time Youper. He gets out, he's like, whoa, you got a little bit of trouble there, eh? And I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, can you help me get my snowmobile out? He's like, well, first of all, it won't start. You're going to have to piss on the engine. And I'm like, what do you, and like, at this point, I'm like, I'm a downstater. I'm like, you're screwing with me. He's like, your fuel lines froze up there, eh? You just got to pee on the fuel line and that'll thaw it out. Then you start up the thing and we'll get it out of there. And I'm like, do you want to pee on the engine? Like, this is the strangest encounter I've ever had. He's like, nope. Not my snowmobile, not my pee. I'm like, all right.
It's
all
not
right.
your snowmobile either, though.
It's a rental, so legally it's mine for the hour. And I have to
This is shit that doesn't happen to me.
I had to dig. These snowmobiles, I look like the kid in the Christmas story. I can't put my arms down. So I finally have to dig through all of this stuff, shimmy it off, whip out my very shrinkage wiener because it's very friggin' cold out, pee on the engine.
Richard, Allen just charged you $1.
This is documentary, Richard Allen. This is fact. Can't find me $1 for fact. So then I urinate on the engine in front of a Uber stranger that I'd never met before at his direction.
So was like, thank you, sir, and just left.
And then, of course, we start up the engine. The engine starts right up, and he pulls out some rope. He threads it through the front skids. He drives off. Obviously, he's done this many times before. I pull back on the trail. And then he's like, oh, you're not too far, eh? Just keep going north there, eh? And I start going north, and now it's dark. I'm almost out of gas. There's nowhere to get gas. Finally found a town. Finally found the place with my cabin. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning when I find the cabin. The cabin, of course, has no TV, no radio. There's no signal. There's no nothing. Get in there, and I'm like, you know what? I've had a horrible day. I've got Madden 2000 whatever on the computer. It's running Parallels, which is a Windows emulator, so I could play Madden on my computer. I'm like, I'm just gonna have a beer, get a beer, come back here, play Madden for a couple hours, go to sleep, get up tomorrow, start the next day. And then I play Madden for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, relaxing, finally safe, it's warm. Had to build a fire. There's no electricity. Well, no, I'm lying. There's electricity. There's no
I would have
heater.
believed you.
There's no heater. And then in the middle of Madden, and my Krakens, which was my team, are about to go in for a touchdown, thing goes black. I'm like, oh, geez, what happened? And we'll not find this out for 8 more days. It turned out that when I ran my own computer over with my rental snowmobile, I cracked the tiny little power conduit on the motherboard. So although you could plug it in, it would not send power to the computer. It was all running off the battery. Therefore, the 7 days I spent in a cabin with no TV and no radio, I could not write one single word because my computer would not work.
And you were so far away from civilization that you couldn't just go to a bar every night and hang out.
No,
and like meet people.
There was like, it was 9 or 10 cabins. So I would go to the clubhouse, if you will, where they served food.
Sure.
And all the Yoopers would be there vacation with their family. And it was bonkers. So I pretty much rode snowmobile every day, met a married couple that just followed them around. And the last thing I'll say about it is I did get to go to the very, very, very tip of the Keweenaw Peninsula and got to look out, and look it up on Google Maps, Keweenaw Peninsula, very tip. I stood the northeasternmost point where you're on a tiny bit of land and it's just water from here all the way over to here. And that was when I saw all of the ice that when I was, the couple was like, be careful, that's not solid footing because it's just like a mile of broken ice chunks with snow on them, all packed in like styrofoam on top of water. And it looks like land just undulating. And it was so beautiful. And that was a thing that went in the book that I would have never thought of that without having to go through that experience.
And that was like shelf ice on water at some point underneath it. That's why it was undulating.
It was like big head-sized chunks and little chunks. So it's like if you took a bunch of styrofoam bits and dropped them on water and pushed them all together, it was like that. Except they're stable enough that they all build up their own little snow, so it looks like snowy ground. Sure. Except every wave comes in, absolutely spectacular. But that was my worst getting lost.
I love that story, and it gets better. Nelson, you brought it up. He's told that story at Siglerfest before, but he left out having to pee on his fuel line, which is why I asked him to tell it again, and he did it, which is great. I will say a couple of things. Robin, you asked if this was worse than Ira Ann or better than Ira Ann. The question specifically said that we weren't supposed to talk about Ira Ann. If you guys aren't familiar with that, in 2019, for 3 weeks in June and July, I got stuck in a teeny little town in Texas called Ira Ann because I hit an animal on a road trip and killed it and ruined my car. Or not killed it and ruined my car. But we'll talk about that another time. Yeah. I will tell you, one of my favorite getting lost stories for me was 1999. I was in Auckland, New Zealand. Auckland, New Zealand has a piece of Auckland which is very, very narrow. New Zealand is an island nation, and it's super very narrow, and I'm not sure what it is. It's probably like, 10 miles or less, 5 miles or less, something like that, to walk from one side to the other. And I made a plan with my first spouse, who I was in New Zealand with back in the day, back in 1999, to meet him, and I went the wrong way. And of course, no cell phones, no nothing. I walked all the way to the edge of the country / city / island and whatever. And I waited there for like 4 hours where we were theoretically supposed to meet. But my direction was turned around and I should have been going the other way. So hey, if you're ever in Auckland, New Zealand, now you will have a cell phone and it won't be a problem. But back in the day, it was a very, very long day sitting by the water doing absolutely nothing. But that was that. And we've already told the Iran, I think last summer, we've told that story. So if you want to look back, I don't know.
We'll revisit Iran at some point. Yeah. But I think it is time for us to get out of this very hot room.
One more question.
Oh, shoot.
Robin Taylor asks, did you write your name in the snow?
Oh, God, so many times. I got my cursive script down and everything, man. I tell you what, you can take the boy out of Sheboygan. You can't take the Sheboygan out of the boy. Everybody who grew up where I grew up, we all know how to flawlessly urinate our own name in the snow. It's a skill. It's a skill. It comes with many,
I don't know how you use
practice.
that skill, but other than peeing in the snow, but it's a skill.
It's a skill. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is it for the hour. This has been fun as usual. We hope you had a great time. We love seeing you every Wednesday. And this is a blast for us. It's a good break from the work week for us. But now, let's get down to let's close it out, baby.
Yeah, so we will be back next week for sure. If you have anything that you need to send us, if you have content ideas for Sigler in Place, if you have questions for Sigler in Place, we're running a little low on questions. So if you have any questions you ever wanted to ask of us or the stories or the industry or whatever, email those to info@emptyset. That is info@emptyset.com.
And we'll be back Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021, celebrating World UFO Day. It's on the 24th, but still.
I mean, I figure UFO is a good graphic.
I don't know what we'll eat, but we got to win those. We got to win those Emmys, baby. Got to eat something.
I mean, so yeah, always be eating. But until then, you guys, we need you to stay safe.
We need you to stay smart.
We always, always need you to stay science.
And for the love of science, stay informed, particularly about the Delta variant. It's on its way. It's going to cause some problems. Read about it. Know what's going on. Know whether you're protected with your vaccine. If you haven't been vaccinated yet, get with the goddamn program. Get that done. It's easy. It's a piece of cake.
And little science, citizen science information. We have started to name the variants with the Greek alphabet. So the Delta variant is the most impressive one right now. That is the most risky one right now. But there's an alpha, there's a beta, there's all of that. So learn that system and keep your ears open when you hear a Greek alphabet letter. If that's a new variant, you need to learn about that too.
Monkey Penis says, in Philly, vaxxed, waxed, and ready to relax.
Yes.
I love it. You're all fantastic.
Smart person summer. Here
Y'all
we
smell
go.
an awful lot like flowers, and now we're going to tell you all to kiss off into the sky. My
I love you,
are you
Jude.
ready to
Have
say
a
goodbye?
great trip.
Ready?
I am.